All right, good morning. For the record, it is February 23rd, 2022. And I'm excited, if you haven't already figured out from the screen that's in front of you, that we have Mutual Omaha here. And of course, our rep, Brad Coffin, who has done an amazing job. And we have a great relationship with Mutual Omaha and Brad. And we're always thankful for the time that he gives to be able to share information about the depth of portfolio that Mutual Omaha has. And this is just one of those examples. But before I pass the baton to Brad, a couple of housekeeping things and stuff that we have going on. So number one, just so that we can get some audience participation really quick, by a show of hands, can you see the screen? So let's just say thank you for joining today's presentation. Mutual Omaha, getting a bunch of hands. Great, great, great. Almost everyone's responded. We have a few stragglers. All right, we put someone to sleep already. That's great. All right, great. Thank you, everyone. The other thing then too is don't put anything in there, but at the bottom of your chat bar or your Zoom bar, you should see a Q&A part as well. So as Brad's going through this information, if you have any questions to ask, then go ahead and put that at the bottom in the Q&A section. And then we'll make sure that we address that either through this information or at the very end, we'll have time for questions. With that said, though, the webinar that you all joined today to make sure you're all in the right place is making money with ancillary products. And I am personally excited about this because I'll be honest, in my entire career and most of the people that I've talked with and worked with as agents, I have not lived in a space where ancillary products was something that was a focus or was even done, even though I knew they existed. So this is why I'm excited, because for everyone that's here, this is going to provide a unique opportunity for you to create more stickiness with your clients, create more revenue, and to create more opportunity for networking, because the ancillary space, and hopefully I'm not stealing too much of Brad's thunder. This is the whole presentation, but I'm just about to share, right? I've either run into agents that either do it and they do a lot of it, or agents that don't do it at all. I haven't really seen a lot of people that kind of dabble or do some of it. And I think based on the conversations that Brad and I have had, and why we set this up is because there is a lot of missed opportunity for not offering ancillary products to the clients that you're already working with. So with that said, Mutual Omaha has a great product line on that. I'm going to let Brad take over and talk about what Mutual Omaha has as part of their portfolio for the ancillary product line, plus some sales concepts. And I think he's just going to be passing out money later. Right, Brad?
Well, we're going to make it rain here, Nathan. Make it rain with money's going to be flying all over.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, I'm going to pass the floor off to Brad. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the QA bar, and we're excited to share this. So without any further ado, Brad, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thanks, Nathan. And thanks, everybody, for taking the time. Nathan and I had a chance to sit down face to face, which in today's world is so few and far between anymore, about a month ago. And we were just really spending some time talking about how we can grow our businesses together. And, one of the things that came up were cross-sell opportunities. And, at Mutual, we've got, one of the deepest life portfolios out there. And you could almost set up a bunch of different cross-sell opportunities just with these products that we have. And I don't want to glaze over too much of this life insurance stuff that we have, but most of you have probably either seen or heard Nathan talk about this stuff, or myself. I've done a couple presentations for Nathan and his group, and some of these products, especially the ones on the right side, may be considered kind of cross-sell opportunities as it stands today. Living Promise is a final expense whole life contract. So, if you're in the P&C world or in the annuity space where you're dealing with maybe some more senior clientele, talking to them about final expense and taking that burden off their family members is a great cross-sell opportunity. It's not taking the focus away from what is your breadwinner in your practice, but it gives the opportunity to maybe address another client's need or maybe address something that they hadn't really thought of. Children's Whole Life is another great example where you may be working with clients in the final expense space or Medicare supplement clients. So clients that are more senior, and you ask them, hey, pretty simple, have you thought about doing something for your grandkids? Oh yeah, I'd love to, do something for my grandkids. Well, we've got this Children's Whole Life contract where you as a grandparent can buy a life insurance contract on the life of the grandchild and be able to almost create a little bit of a savings account for them using a Children's Whole Life policy. So, there's a lot of cross-sell opportunities within these life policies that we have. But one of the other things that really came about from our conversation, Nathan's and my conversation, was utilizing a whole nother product line that we have, and that's critical illness. And critical illness can really be used to supplement other types of insurance that your clients have, but also, as Nathan mentioned, create that stickiness. There's studies all over. I know, especially in the P&C world, my father-in-law was a 42, 43-year State Farm agent, and they were just hammered with getting multiple products in a household and how sticky that makes that relationship. How strong of a relationship they become when you have two types of insurance in there or two types of policies, when you have three, when you have four types of policies in there, and how all of a sudden that client starts coming to you and talking to you about much more than maybe your main product line. So there's just great opportunities that can be had by using things for cross-selling. It increases that client retention. So when something happens, maybe on your main breadwinner, they still want to come back to you and look to you for other types of opportunities or other solutions that they need. It improves your profitability. What's a few extra bucks more that you can make and be able to help your client out? And then secondly, develop more leads, more referral sources just by, asking one or two simple questions of your client and developing or helping them with a need that they hadn't really thought about. So there's so many great benefits to cross-selling that if you're not currently doing it, maybe this critical illness line that we're going to talk about may be that kind of low-hanging fruit, if you will, of an opportunity for you to go out there and work with your clients.
And hey, Brett, as you go through that really quick, I just wanted to ask everyone, as a quick raise of hands to kind of get the audience, who here sells critical illness ancillary products right now? So raise of hands. Out of the entire group that we have, we only have like one person that raised their hand. I think there's based on the list that I know, there's a couple. As I say, I know there's a couple people on there, but that's the opportunity that we're talking about right there. So I just wanted to highlight that out of all the people that we have on this webinar right here, there is only a couple people that are selling that product line. So go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, tons of opportunity. And like we said, we're going to try and create as simple of a process here for you today to be able to implement this in your business and really create some more profitability for you. But then also, as we said, increase that client stickiness or that retention with your client base. So, really, what is critical illness? Just a quick background: critical illness really isn't because something's going to happen or you're going to pass away, but it's because you're going to survive. And the Aflac duck, was always a great spokesman for the industry, where there are so many other fees and expenses that pop up that maybe your traditional health insurance doesn't cover. And so having some supplemental insurance is something that can really help your client out in their time of need. It was started actually by a South African surgeon, this Dr. Marius Bernard, and he was going around helping clients with heart attack and stroke patients. And he was coming to find out that their insurance in South Africa had these big gaps, and clients were just getting stuck with all these hospital bills that they just had no way to cover. And so he always talked about that financial stress and how there are ways that, he wanted to create a market for insurance companies to fill some of those gaps. And that's basically was the start of critical illness insurance. So for us, the opportunity is kind of threefold. And, honestly, our cancer policy is one of the best out there in the marketplace. I think that's probably the lowest hanging fruit, and you'll see that as we go through this presentation. But basically, consider us having three policies. So one, we have a critical illness policy, and this would cover both your cancer, heart attack, stroke, and maybe some other conditions. We have a true cancer only plan, and then a true heart attack and stroke plan. So those are three separate options that you and your clients can go through to cover, that need. And here's the great thing is, for critical illness, the issue ages go up to 64, 54 for kind of a term type policy. Benefit amounts up to 10,000 to 100,000. And that's, these are as simple as if your client has a certain condition, we pay out. It's just that simple. It's a lump sum benefit with tons of different options there from a term or lifetime perspective. The critical illness policy covers melanomas, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's, organ transplants, blindness. So all types of conditions that, if your client is struck with one of these conditions, they're going to get a lump sum payout based on off of the policy. There's different riders that can be added. So tons of different flexibility with these policies. We can get into some of the nitty gritty on this. I think there's a lot more that could be done on maybe some self-study. I think what we really want to do is just kind of open your eyes to the cross-sell opportunity and make this maybe as simple as possible for you if you're going to try and implement this into your practice. So the critical illness, once again, kind of covers everything. Your cancer and then your heart attack, stroke policies do go out a little bit longer. And here's where, we're selling a lot of these, like the cancer plan goes all the way up to age 89. So we've got a lot of clients. If you know Mutual of Omaha, we have a very robust Medicare supplement portfolio. We have tons of agents writing Medicare supplement. We do, maybe 500 to 600 million in premium in Medicare supplement a year, just staggering amounts of Medicare supplement. And what's happened over the last few years is a lot of our Medicare supplement agents are going out there asking their clients about cancer insurance or maybe about heart attack, stroke. Are these concerns of theirs? Most clients in their 60s have friends that have had cancer. Most of us have probably had friends or family members or someone that has had cancer. And that's where this concern or this type of policy can really come into play. But having it go all the way out to age 89 is very important to recognize for those of you that are in that senior market. So if you're doing final expense today in that senior market, why not implement a cancer plan along with that? So just some different opportunities there off of these types of coverage. Additional riders that can be added, like your heart attack, stroke, you can add a cancer rider. For the heart attack, stroke policy, you can add that cancer rider. For the cancer, you can add a heart attack, stroke rider. So there's ways to kind of supplement these policies. Like I said, I don't think we need to get into the weeds too much on the different riders. We can send you guys some information on that, make you guys aware of what's available. But for us, it's really just the opportunity that you guys may be missing by not talking about these policies. The great thing about this, plain and simple, is the underwriting. We have basically, we consider it an express underwriting where there's just a couple of knockout questions, basically 3 questions on the cancer plan Have you had cancer in the last 10 years? So even if you have a client that has had cancer, maybe 12 years ago and is fully recovered, they can get this type of cancer plan. And if you think about it, people that have had cancer, what's their biggest concern? A recurrence. And so that's where having one of these types of policies is makes it available to those people that have had that. Cut off when you sell these plans. Mylan, hopefully my previous slide answered that question. So ages 18 to 89 for the cancer and the heart attack plan. The critical illness goes up to age 64. So hopefully that answers that question for you. Once again, very simplified underwriting. You may go after the MIB and stuff if you're asking for a bigger lump sum payout than that 50,000. Guaranteed renewable, which means for the life, as long as they're paying their premiums, the contract is going to be renewed. And there's no reduction in the base benefit at any age. So, when they hit retirement age, we don't drop any of the benefits or anything like that. We do have a paper application available, but most people are using our e-application. And the e-application makes it very simple. All the forms come in good order, and then we can turn that around in a very timely basis for you. So just some great opportunities there off of this. And we can payroll deduct or list bill it. So for this plan, and what's interesting is those of us on the life side have been asking for some type of list billing capabilities, and we don't have that on our life products because of the admin system we're on. For this critical illness policy, we can list bill it. So if you're in a small group situation, you do have that opportunity to be able to offer this as an ancillary benefit and be able to list bill it if they have a payroll slot available. All right, so it's available in pretty much every state, including New York, which is kind of interesting because we're not in New York on our life plans, but we do have that available for this critical illness. I am sorry if any of you are in Montana. While I'm sure it's a beautiful state, for whatever reason, they have not approved our critical illness policies. So I apologize if you are in the state of Montana. So let's get to the quick and easy sales idea piece of this. And the simple question to ask, even as you're walking out the door from your sale, where you're talking about your typical, main line of business, if it's property and casualty or whatever it may be, the simple question, who has your cancer policy? It's just that easy. That one simple question can spurn that discussion. And the client may say, cancer policy, what are you talking about? Well, is cancer a concern, or do you have a family history of cancer? Well, yeah, I mean, my neighbor down the street just had cancer and it's been terrible and all this stuff. Hey, I've got a policy that you can sell, that you can buy today. It's going to cover any additional expenses that you may have. So if cancer is a concern of yours and you're worried about the finances around cancer coverage, why don't we talk about this? And you can run a quick quote. It's just that simple. That one simple question. If there's one thing to take away from this, if this is something that you think you're going to implement in your business, take this one question with you. Who has your cancer policy? It's just that easy to implement that into your current practice.
How easy is it, Brad?
Perfect. I'm sorry?
How easy is it, Brad?
Oh, it's just, Nathan, it is so easy. Hey, Nathan, by the way, who has your cancer policy?
That's a great question, Brad. No one, actually. I mean, there's a sales opportunity right there. Everyone that's on this webinar should be getting their own policy.
That's exactly right, Nathan. I think you're the first goat on that one. So thank you for taking that application for us. Appreciate that.
I'll get if you show me where I can take that application, I'll get started on that right away.
We'll get to that here in a slide or two. Perfect. So just as an example, I mean, this is very easy coverage to get. And one of the things that we'll talk about here in a second is you may be asking, well, how do I quote it? If any of you have one of these things, a cell phone, a smartphone. Hopefully you're not still using an old flip phone. If you have a smartphone, there's an application that we'll tell you about that you can download and be able to quote this. But just to show you how inexpensive it is, this particular client, a 55-year-old female who may be looking at a final expense plan, just an easy $10,000 level death benefit final expense plan to cover that. That death benefit for $10,000 is $27 a month. For an additional $14.92 a month, she can get an additional $10,000 in coverage on a critical advantage plan. So, very affordable for $42 a month. She can cover both if she gets struck with an illness, being, cancer, heart attack, stroke, on a critical advantage policy, or if, God forbid, if something happened to her, her beneficiaries will get that $10,000, be able to cover those final expenses. So a very, cost efficient way to cover living benefits and, death benefit should the need arise. Also, as I mentioned, if you go to your app store, if you will, on your or the Google Play app or the Apple Store, you can just do a quick search for Mutual of Omaha quotes. That's all you have to do. It says for sales professionals. That'll be what pops up. But if you just search for Mutual of Omaha quotes, you'll be able to run quotes on all these policies here on your left. But if you notice, that critical advantage is there. So you can start quoting. You can be in the client's home and be able to run that quote right here off of your phone. You can do that with the final expense and with the critical advantage. So very easy for you to be able to do that. And it's kind of funny. I don't think I see the final expense on here, but it's on. It is available. You can quote the final expense on there as well. So just something to think about. So easy. If you're looking for additional sales ideas, we've got some great marketing pieces through our Marketing Solutions Center that you can pull down some different ideas, just some things that you can think about to help implement this into your practice. So we will make sure that these are available to you. And that's available through our we call it SPA, which is Sales Professional Access. So a nice little ring there, SPA. So mutualofomaha.com/broker. Tons of product details, sales and marketing. The e-application is on that website. You will have to be appointed with us to be able to sign into that website. So if you're not currently appointed with us, talk to Nathan and his group about getting appointed with us. From there, just go to that simple website. You can get all the product details, underwriting information, sales tools, and the link for the e-application is all done through this one website. So our Marketing Solutions Center, no login required here. There's tons of information out there, including some of those sales pieces I just showed you. Very easy website, mutualofomaha.com/solution-center. So no login required for this website. So if you're looking to get access to the application or the underwriting information, do the broker page. If you're just looking for some sales ideas, sales tools, that type of stuff, go to the Solutions Center website. So those two websites are really all you would need to know to be able to access this information. And once again, to get to the broker site, you'll need to log in, and that's where you'll need to work with Nathan to get appointed with us. So the Solution Center, you can kind of build a campaign. We have pieces that are available that can be co-branded, or you can pull pieces off of there that you can take to your local print shop and brand it yourself. Do statement stuffers, any of that type of stuff. There's tons of information, tools, and resources available on that Solution Center website.
That's a new website that I didn't know about. The Solution Center.
Good. So really, I mean, that's as easy as we wanted to make it for you today. I know this was kind of a quick presentation, but really we just wanted to introduce the idea of cross-selling to you. And cross-selling can be as simple as, taking some of our life products that we talked about, a children's whole life, a final expense type plan, and implementing that into your current practice. But really, honestly, if you're in a lead generated business, so if you're doing mortgage leads or property and casualty leads or final expense leads, it is so easy to make sure you walk out of the door with a sale just by implementing that one simple question: who has your cancer policy? That's as easy as it's going to be in this life insurance business to be able to make an ancillary sale. And then from there, it may open up other discussion points, other opportunities to talk about other sales opportunities with your clients. So with that being said, hopefully this was helpful for you in implementing some new practices for you and help you with your client retention.
Yeah, I mean, we'll of course be here for a few minutes. I have some stuff that I wanted to ask about for everyone here. And then, like I said, if anybody has any questions about the ancillary product line or what that looks like, put it in the Q&A section. But from my end, because I'm looking at a lot of the names around here, a lot of people, for anybody that has an existing book of business, I know there's a couple P&C people on here as well, especially that solution center of printing out some ideas and sending out some material on critical illness and cancer policy and things like that. It's very, very easy and simple to do. And like I said, and if you had even if 100 clients and you send this out to them and you get, let's use the 80-20 rule, even you get 20 more clients, 20 of your current clients selling this, I mean, that's another revenue stream. That's ability for you to buy more leads, put money into marketing. This is really what I want everyone to start thinking about when they're looking at this, that only a couple people raised their hand out of all the people on the webinar, and you all have clients. And no one has asked that question. In my career of writing policies, I never asked that question. Who has your cancer policy? I've never talked about the ancillary product lines. I always did it within, the living benefit concept or within policy, but not even adding the riders on there. So, I mean, that's where, for me, I've seen a lot of missed opportunity. And there's a lot of money on the table that everyone's leaving. And also, too, just talking about helping the client, because that's the worst case scenario that we could run across, especially as agents, is, one of our clients gets cancer or something like that. And then we start thinking afterwards, oh, what else could I have helped them with to ease the pain of, paying for all these different aspects, and how could I help the family? This is a great sales concept for that. And to be able to have those extra policies, and it's very inexpensive. This is not something that's going to break the bank. So that's kind of the thought process. I mean, anything, and for someone that just asked about the solutions, there's the website again right there. One of the things that I'll do as well is all the resources, and even if it's if I get approval from Brad, is this presentation okay to pass out to everyone? Oh, you're muted, Brad.
Too many dialogue boxes open. I couldn't get to the unmute button. So yes, that is definitely available to send out. So I believe I sent it to you the other day. So yeah.
Yeah, as I said, so this will be something that in the recap email that gets sent out at the end of the day, this will have this presentation in there. It'll have all the resources as well. But any other questions that anyone has on how to utilize this, we have, of course, Mutual of Omaha, their sales desk. We have Brad to have the conversation with. Like I said, getting into the weeds of the policy is not the point. The idea is very simple. Ask the question to all of your clients: who has your cancer policy? That can be a simple add-on that everyone can do. And then the details you can get through the materials at Mutual of Omaha. You can talk to Brad. You can talk to our team. we'll make sure that we get that information your way. But any other questions that anybody has while we have Brad, because his time is very precious. We don't get him all the time.
Hey, I'm here for you guys, and don't forget to download that app so you can quote the policy. I think that's going to be the best way to kind of get to know the policy, is run a couple of quotes. Very simple to do off the application. So best way is just start playing with it.
And I mean, I know we semi-joked about it earlier, but I mean, I am actually going to look at that myself and look at a policy, because I mean, if you don't have your own policy on something like this, that should be a very super easy sale, and should apply to everyone. Any other questions? We'll hang out for 1 or 2 more minutes.
Brad, thanks a lot for your presentation. This is Milan. When I used to sell cancer policies, I kind of got away from it. If I was in a seminar, the numbers are that, I'm not saying you're going to die from cancer, but the numbers are 1 out of 2 women in this country get cancer, and 1 out of 3 men in this country get cancer. And those numbers really shock people. And a lot of times when I do retirement homes, I'd ask one lady to look at the left, and if she had a female, I said, one of you 2 is going to get cancer. And wouldn't it be nice if you had a policy? Those numbers of 1, and again, you got to say that I'm not saying you're going to die from cancer, but 1 out of 2 women in this country and 1 out of 3 men in this country have cancer before they pass. And those are staggering numbers.
Yeah, that's a great point. It is shocking, and even for the your clients that have had it, for them to be able to get a policy after 10 years of recovery is amazing as well, because you're going to run into a lot of people that have already unfortunately been diagnosed with cancer. They may be cancer free now, but they're always worried about that recurrence, and they'll have a firsthand view of what the expenses were in dealing with cancer treatment. So it's a great point.
So the question that was just asked is this additional with life insurance? So these are the products that we're going over. These are standalone products.
Yes.
So these are not.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have a policy called IUL Express that has a critical illness rider built into it. So there is a little bit of a function, but the rider is very different. It's an acceleration of the death benefit. So their death benefit gets reduced by the payouts that happen with the critical illness. So these are standalone policies, not life insurance. They are standalone kind of health policies, if you will. So kind of an ancillary product.
And just in planning, especially with these type of products with life insurance, this is one thing for everyone that's doing, teaching people about maximally funded life insurance and using life insurance for supplemental retirement planning and things of that nature. This is almost a must ask question, because one of the biggest things with those policies is that we are trying not to bog down the cost or change the structure of them at any time throughout the policy, so that we can maximize the cash value. This is a great sale to add. That's a very low cost solution to those type of clients that would allow them to get access to the ancillary product, the standalone product first, before dipping into their life insurance policy, especially if the plan is for them to use it for cash value down the road or a supplemental retirement income stream. This is a great product to add, like I said, as a standalone that would trigger this first rather than the life insurance policy. Also, actually, just to address that as the additional with life insurance, I know this is probably going to be really basic, and everyone probably already knows this, but Brad, to confirm, what license do you need to be able to sell this product?
So depending on state, but most states have a life and health license. That's all kind of in one wrapper. So they would just need that life health license.
Yeah. So for places that it's separated, this is you would need your health insurance license to do it. I know
this day and age, they're combining that a lot. But if you only have a life license for whatever reason, typically you won't be able to sell this product. Like I said, depending on the state and how it works, but typically you won't be able to sell this if you don't have your health insurance license. Joseph asked that the statistic that Milan listed, are there any statistics on the website, Brad?
I think there are. I'll try to look for some stuff that we may have, some other stats on uncovered costs and all that fun stuff that we can send out. I'll see if we've got some additional information on that. And then Timothy asked if having a critical illness in the past is an auto decline. You'll have to read through the health questions that are on the application. I know, like the cancer, ask if you've had cancer in the last 10 years. I think the heart attack, stroke definitely goes through a similar type scenario. The heart attack, stroke may be a little more restrictive on having it in the past versus current. Like I said, the cancer has a 10-year question on it. So the best thing to do is get a copy of the application. So if you get logged into that broker website, get a copy of the application. You can see what the health questions on the application are.
Perfect. And then David asked, is there an estimate of the uncovered cost a typical cancer sufferer will have? So example, how much coverage should someone get?
Yeah, so I'm not sure of some of the stats on that, but we'll take a look at that and see if we can provide some additional stats. And this is a different application than a life insurance application. So if you're applying for a final expense, it's two separate apps. So as of right now, we don't have one simple application that can do both. I know eventually we'd like to get to that point, but a lot of it is, one, life insurance and health insurance are covered differently by HIPAA. So there's some restrictions on stuff that can be shared between the two. So there'd have to be some different ways that the HIPAA language is stated, and then we'd have to refile some applications. So they're two separate apps as of right now. But those are things we're looking at.
And then I'm not sure the question here, the pro question off of a life app. Oh, is that just referencing the same question? And then a couple of questions, because I've got, Milan's actually looking at doing a quote right now. Is there any difference of the cost for smoker or non-smoker? Or is that one of the questions?
I believe that is, that's a good question. Let me see, even if I take a look at running a quote right now, if there's a smoker, non-smoker section.
Because I know on the quote, it doesn't ask anything whether you're a smoker or not. It gives the same quote.
Okay, then yeah, then it works differently then for the different, obviously for the different
Gotcha.
policy, life policy versus, a current cancer plan, any of that. So yeah, if it's not on the quote, then yeah. Now that may play into the underwriting question on the application, but would not apply on the rates.
Sounds good. And then question on that, the difference between term and lifetime. How long does when you're quoting it?
Yeah, so there's different terms. It's almost like term insurance, 10, 15, 20, 30 year, I think, are different term durations that you would have. So you could just have cancer coverage for the next 30 years versus having it for life.
Gotcha.
Is lifetime 89?
No. So lifetime's lifetime. The max issue age is 89.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
they couldn't take a policy out past 89, but the policy would be for guaranteed renewable for life.
Wow.
Gotcha. Nice. Any other questions? Those were all great ones.
I do have one more question for you. Does this cancer, and I apologize, I was in and out, I had a few client calls during, does this cancer policy cover all types of cancer?
Yeah, there's a schedule of payouts. So like it's going to pay out different for like a skin cancer versus other types of cancers. So there's a kind of a schedule, if you will, of what percentage of the benefit would get paid out for the different types of cancer. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we'll because those questions came as we were about to head out. So I'm gonna give everyone a minute or two just to see if there's anything else. There's, again, cannot stress enough. There's a lot of opportunity in this. Oh, sorry, Mod's asking. Mod's like diving into an app. I think he's starting one already.
I'm solving this like crazy today.
Intensive care unit.
So yeah, I mean that's just.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just asking what is in critical advantage. You see heart attack and stroke, and then it's an intensive care unit and cash value rider.
Yeah, so that's just if they go into an ICU for a period of time, it would pay out an additional benefit if they're in ICU. So it just kind of depends on what happens with them. You know, not all impairments, if you will, would send somebody to the ICU.
Gotcha. That sounds good. And then the cash value rider.
Yeah, I'd have to dive into that a little bit more. I think it's just an enhanced cash. I'm trying to remember exactly what that covers. I don't have one of the pieces in front of me. I'll make sure you get the product guide that would dive into that. But I think it's just an enhanced cash rider for different conditions, that type of stuff. So just
that sounds good. I got to put you on the spot. This is great. I like it.
No, I think it just enhances some of the cash value payouts is all that does. So
sounds good. Well, I know the Solution Center website that you sent out. I was just looking at that. They have some materials back there already. There's stuff that you can look at, but I will send over a list of those materials. Everyone will get this presentation that you saw as well. If you have any questions, like I said, you have Brad, you have our team, you have the affiliate marketing officer you're working with, or the business development advisor. Like I said, I'm excited about this opportunity. I would love for, just like Milan's doing it, he's checking on his own stuff and a couple of his clients that he was just working with over the past few days. That's really where the opportunity is. Download the app, super simple to quote, very easy to get a price, and then take an application and go from there. But if anyone needs contracting, the contracting link will be sent in the email as well, but get with your business development advisor or the AMO. But Brad, I appreciate the time. Like I said, I know it's a super simple concept and idea. It's just not talked about enough. So I appreciate you going through it, and really glad that Mutual of Omaha has a resource that we can leverage on that side.
yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for your time. And don't forget that one simple question. Who has your cancer coverage? It's just that easy.
Appreciate it, Brad. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.